You just did the Eric trademark boop there.
I know, I did that on purpose.
All right, hold on. Okay.
Sibilance.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this podcast video of The Legend of Eric. I know it's been a long time since we've been here, but I am joined today with my comrade and fellow partner in crime, Adam.
Yeah.
And we're just going to be talking about things, rambling on about video games. You know the drill by now. This is the third podcast. If I upload,
I'm the Adam, formerly known as the 2600.
right. Well, you still are the 2600.
Yeah, I agree.
Nobody
but
can
I'm
take that
so
away.
much more.
I know. Now, see, I gotta say, Adam, these podcasts. I mean, I've looked at the analytics on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube. If I could get my facts straight here. And people seem to be really digging these, and by digging these, I mean, it's got 30 views, which to me is pretty fucking great,
Yeah, clicky, people.
Go see, that's the thing. Yeah, and see, well, here's the thing, is that most people watch the goddamn Inspector Gadget video, which I'm thankful for that. If you enjoy it, that's great. That's why I did it. But it's like, that's got a lot of views, and it's got more views than my most time spent video, which is the Atari 7800 retro review, which that has a lot of people that are like, thank you for doing this, and it's like, oh, it's my pleasure. I just like making videos. But anyway.
Okay, so anyway.
Right.
Podcast time.
After 10 tangents, we're finally back on track. So, what are we going to talk about today, Adam? Let's
well, I think it would be neglectful for us not to mention that since we last talked with you, we have indeed visited the Louisville Arcade Expo.
Can you say that again, Adam? Because I think Skype had a fart there.
Since we last talked, we visited the Louisville Arcade Expo.
There you go. We did.
And much joy was had.
Yeah. I really don't know where to begin other than we went for one day, and we later regretted that we only went for one day. But we didn't really have much of a choice. I mean, we didn't,
Right.
And next year, I would like to go for the full.
As would I, and maybe get a hotel over there one day, or two.
Or, another spare tire.
Yeah, we were down to 3 tires when we got out of the place at midnight. So that
was fun, and it was like freezing wind blowing everywhere, and that was a story for another day, children.
Indeed, thanks to Dad came and helped us out. So
he's a good fellow. First time the Daddy-O has been mentioned on these podcasts, but I gotta say, walking in, I was excited, because you had been there with one of our buddies, Ron.
Indeed.
And shout out to Ron if you're there, buddy. And I had heard about all these stories, like, oh, there's tons of arcade machines. I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. So I was really excited this year, and I went to the place. It was a hotel, and they had this big sort of gathering room. I don't know what
ballroom.
Yeah, like a ballroom. Exactly.
Room.
Yeah, conference room. Exactly. And so it's this big place, and
it's huge. Like, you say that it's a conference room, you have no idea. It's like
it's huge
expo.
Right. Yeah.
Huge.
It was beautiful, and literally you walk in, and they give you a little bracelet. They check your name, like most conventions would do. And you walk in, and the first thing you notice that me and Adam noticed, at least, and he can attest to this, is that it sounded like arcade.
Arcade roar. Yes.
Yeah, and if you've never been to an arcade, which most of you, some of you at least, who are watching this, listening to this, probably won't have that experience.
If you're young
sad.
Enough.
Yeah, if you're young enough, the arcades have probably passed you guys by. If you're younger than I'd say,
you can still find them, but you've got to live in a major market.
And if you do find them, it's the same 2 games that they have everywhere. Which there's nothing wrong with Galaga and Miss Pac-Man, but that's what you find everywhere.
Next time you come down here, Eric, as you know that I've often spoke of wanting to open up the barcade.
Yeah.
A bar/arcade. Well, guess what? There's one down here. So next time you come down here, we're going to Arcadium.
I'd love it. So speaking on arcades, this place had these were all machines donated from from people who just had these machines laying around, like $2,000 for some of these machines, some of them, $6,000 pinball machines that were here. And so this was all community supported, which was just incredible, that these people lent these machines out that they had worked so hard to have, to maintain, to buy, and they just let the general public come in there and play them. And
and so you pay a fee up front.
Right. If you register ahead of time, you get a discount.
And it's quite small either way, as far as I'm concerned. Not that I want them to raise their prices, but
right.
But then everything's on free play. So you walk in, and then everything's open to you. Obviously, people take turns. Everybody's really cool about it. That was the first thing that surprised me. The first time that I went, I was kind of like, oh, here's going to be some dude on the one pinball machine for the whole night kind of thing. Right. That never happens.
You make a very good point, because a lot of the people there, I mean, like almost everybody, like 99% of the people there were very, very cordial and arcade etiquette. And if you've never been to an arcade, some people will just stay on an arcade machine forever and you never get a turn. But here they took their turn. They got back in the back of the line if there was a line to the pinball machines, or another thing. And it was just amazing, because not only did they have arcade machines, which we'll talk about here a little bit more.
Right.
I know I didn't give them enough time. But they had very rare machines. They had Japanese consoles. They had very rare consoles that you could just walk up and play. I mean, me and Adam played a Famicom, the Japanese NES, and we played Contra on it.
Yeah.
So, one thing that we discovered that I'm actually gonna make a video and post it to the channel. I don't know when that's going up, but I want to do it. And there's a mic on the second controller, which me and Adam both knew about that. And instead of a start and select, you get a mic. But what we didn't know was that whenever you turn the mic up, what you said into the controller went over onto the TV. Like, it came out the TV speakers, which just blew my mind.
I had no idea that
it's like,
Famicoms did that.
It's like, I just want a Famicom just to say shit into the TV.
But it was kind of one of those moments that I had always wanted to. Like, I spent the entire first time that I went over there basically having a great time with some of my friends, Brian and Ron. We had a great time. But I spent hours wishing that you were there, because I knew what it would be like if you and I were both there.
I mean, speaking on some of the things that just blew my mind that I got to play was the Famicom. I still want a Famicom. I'm eventually hopefully going to get one.
That was worth $15 to me, frankly.
Yeah.
Was that we sat down at a Famicom, played Japanese.
And what's cool was that they had these in a separate room that wasn't so noisy. So it almost felt like you walked into like this museum of consoles.
It's basically a museum of consoles. It really was.
I mean, you got to play the PC Engine was one of them. That I always kind of wanted to play. They had the TurboGrafx. They had Philips CDI with the legendary Zelda game, my boy. So I got to see that firsthand, which was, YouTube,
literally off the disc.
Right. Yeah. It was right there in front of me. I took movies of it, so you'll see that. But like, I'm a huge fan of YouTube poops, and I know Adam doesn't really get it, but I understand it. YouTube poops are weird.
Snooping as usual.
Snooping as usual, right. So this was just one of these incredible moments that, I'd always dreamed about. But I didn't.
And to me, it was like
$700,
When we walked in, and we both sat, we had some great moments, and we'll talk about them all. Oh, yeah. But when we both sat down and played a Famicom, and I looked down and we're playing Contra, the Japanese Contra.
Which is better.
Which has cutscenes, yeah.
There's fucking cutscenes in it. Yeah, what happened to those in the American release? Did they just, we don't need those. It makes the game better.
And I sat down and I put the Konami code into a Famicom, and it worked. And it was just that moment where I was like, and just take my money. That's my $15 right there, was to get to play that with you. And, but yeah, you're right. They had,
Vectrex.
We'll get into the I don't want to leave the arcade machines out.
The Vectrex.
Yeah,
I always wanted to play a Vectrex.
They had a console, and they probably had 2 or 3 of them there.
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing there.
That was a new one for me. I had never got to play a 5200, an Atari 5200.
Me either.
Um, they had an Apple II GS sitting there with Print Shop running, with a working printer hooked up to it.
Yeah, it took forever, but it was awesome.
It's just the thinking that through, and that was not cheap for that dude. Like, can you imagine buying ink ribbons for a
let alone
printer
getting a working one?
92, yeah.
And these things weren't caked with filth or anything. They were like, they were the real deal. They were pristine copies of these things.
And so we played a Super Famicom,
right? Yeah.
Just about everything that they had console-wise. And Eric's right, they're in different rooms, and you go in there, and it has a museum feel quality to it.
Because the sound just kind of dissipates. It's wild. Yeah. It's like very comforting or something.
It just really, really cool stuff.
The world's largest living room.
It really was. I do like their tip of the hat to the 80s living room that they set up.
I didn't get to play that.
No, but it's one of those things where they have a
goddamn M. Bison. Now that just blows our chances of having being featured on there.
That one of the guys there.
And he's a great guy. Don't get me wrong.
He's just messing around. Anyway.
Totally awesome dude. He totally cool.
So anyway, they have an old couch set up and an old wood panel box around it TV.
Yeah.
With the NES hooked up to it, and a bunch of just games just laying there, and you can just throw them in, and everybody's just really trusting. And I don't know.
That's what amazed me. Yeah, it was so trustworthy. It was just like, we know you're going to fuck with our stuff, but, we trust you. And it literally was just like walk up to something and play it. Whatever.
It was so cool. It was just... I will say that Saturday seemed crowded to me versus my first experience last year. But I understand it. Hey, they're popular.
Awesome.
What do you do? I'm glad they are popular.
Yeah. Got my picture made with Bomberman, Fox,
Yeah, and just so many cool things that they put up for people to do there. I can't say enough good things about the people that run that show, basically out of the kindness of their heart.
Right.
Everybody that donates them, I understand some people are trying to sell the machines, but still, who cares?
Right.
And I wish I could buy them.
I was going to say, I mean, both me and you kind of looked at each other a few times like, if I just had a few more monies.
Yeah, exactly.
Could buy this shit up in a heartbeat.
So, we'll talk about the arcade a little bit, because it's basically divided into three parts, if you will, where it's the pinball machines, which is a huge discussion we're getting ready to have, I'm sure. The arcade machines, and then the home consoles. And basically, if it existed, they had the home console of it there.
Yeah. I'd say it's 50% pinball, 25% arcade, and 25% home console.
There was a lot of pinball there this
year. Which
I
ain't complaining. I fucking love pinball. It made me love pinball. There you go.
I enjoyed the numbers that they had. Some people said there were fewer arcade machines than there were there last year, and if that's true, it's close. It's not like it's a dramatic drop-off. They changed the layout, so I think a lot of people thought that there were less just because the layout was a little bit different.
They had a shit ton.
Oh, my God. To say that name it, and they basically had it.
Yeah, Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time. Well, no, it was the original Turtles, actually.
What?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
NBA Jam, which was new. Both those machines were new this year.
Yeah.
Name it. Burger Time was there. Versus Super Mario was there. Hell, versus Castlevania was there.
That was one that I was like, oh.
We got to play Arcade Warlords for the first time.
That was cool. Yeah.
Jungle Hunt, which is called something different. What's that called? Jungle something.
King?
Jungle King, you're correct. Good,
awesome.
Good thing. Circus Charlie, which I had never played before. Pretty cool.
That's cruel. That game is cruel.
It was indeed. Original Space Invaders.
Was that the original?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Donkey Kong, Asteroids. We played track and field on a cocktail.
Which basically left all the people getting beers going, oh, god damn, they're playing it again. Because you just sat there going, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, I have a feeling we annoyed our fair share of people.
Oh, yeah, because everybody got kind of quiet, you know? You got a feeling they were pulling out the switchblades on you.
But seriously, to be completely honest, everybody there was
yes.
cool.
Yes.
Like, nobody was like an ass.
Right.
It's just like, I didn't know what to go in, what it was going to go on when I went there the first time, and was very pleased. And this was just more of the same. There were more people there, but they were still nice. And
yeah, very.
I mean, you got to play Battlezone for the first time. It was so cool.
I gotta say, man. I mean, I played Battlezone, but on the ports, you know, and this with the. I would buy that machine for my future house if I have the money, which I don't. But
if you'll allow me to be like my boy for a second, it was very, very, very cool for me personally to get to watch you play some of the arcade machines I grew up on.
Yeah.
Like, I walked into arcades and played that Battlezone.
Yeah.
And getting to see you experience how cool that is, and that actually meant a lot to me, and it was very cool. It was very cool.
I gotta say, I mean, touching on what you're saying right here is that if you have children and you're into gaming, you know, let them experience. In my view, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me here, let them experience things that they probably won't get to experience on their own. You know, go out of your way to try to show them what life was like before iPods. And I'm going to sound like a grandpa here, you know, which I normally do.
With new stuff,
right? And it's like show them what life was like before all this new technology. Not that there's anything wrong with technology per se. Just, you know, I encourage any fathers, mothers, you know, anything, to go out and to try to let your kids experience things before the way things are now, before Facebook, before phones, but you know, cell phones, you know, before you know, all this stuff, before online gaming. You know, before online gaming, you went to an arcade and you showed up. Somebody was like, "Hey, you mind if I sit in?" You're like, "Yeah, sure." And then you play a game with each other, and it's a social experience that you don't really get whenever you're behind a screen and somebody's across the world. Which there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, what I'm saying is that they're right next to you. You know, if you're kicking somebody's ass, they'll leave, and you know that you did good. You know, it's not like those people on you know, Call of Duty where you know, they get pissed off and say cuss words at you and then, you know, skip on the game. It's a totally different experience. I think that I know that whenever I have children, which, you know, I hopefully is in the near future for me, is that, you know, I want them to experience the NES. I want them to experience an Atari. You know, I want them to experience all these very as modern day kids. You know, I've been working at school, and the kids don't even know what the GameCube was.
Right.
And that just blows my mind, because I'm sitting here going, what? You know, it's like it blows my mind. And I mean, I think it's a healthy thing for kids to remember a day. You know, if they're growing up, let them experience things before things were way too easy. And it's just let them experience games the way they used to be. I mean, I know I sound like a grandpa, but I mean, and some people are probably, oh, fuck you, but whatever.
To get us back on the direction. There's no better place than a place like...
Exactly, that's what I was getting at, yeah.
Louisville Arcade Expo.
Take them there. Take them to these
expositions.
And we have
touched on this whole social aspect of arcades
yes.
Previously, but it really is, and you can find people that are willing to play you there easily. Yeah. We played several machines with complete strangers and had great times.
It's amazing.
And... but, you know, I mean, I remember Eric's playing the Vector graphics Star Wars. And
that was amazing. I was having fun. It blew my mind. This is
Yeah,
2014, and it blew
was
my mind.
It was the trench run of the original Star Wars.
When was this, in the 70s?
80. I think.
Okay,
it was
if it was 80, it blew my mind. You know, and I mean, I grew up with the NES and the Super Nintendo, more Super Nintendo than the NES, but I played the NES, and I mean, but it blew my mind.
There is a slickness to that arcade Star Wars.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so Eric's playing it, and there's people behind us watching it and doing the lines from the movies and stuff, and I don't know.
That made me feel pretty cool. But
Yeah.
it also puts this sort of this weight on your shoulders.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, people are watching you.
Please don't run into a wall now.
Right.
Okay?
That's another thing, you know, when you're talking about arcades, that's a totally other thing that you're thinking about. There's people behind you watching you.
Yeah.
You know?
And I will bring this up, even though I came out on, spoiler alert, I lost. We're going to do the Throwdown Showdown, which was a thing that I came up with way back in the day for New Year's Eve, where Eric and I play all these different games.
When I was probably like 12 years old, we're talking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 25 now, which is hard to believe, but
yeah, well, I'm not going to discuss my age. Be the dead terrible, just
78.
Yeah.
I just sound young.
Remember my first Pong console.
Beep.
But anyway, we staged the Throwdown Showdown. Now, originally it was going to be 9 arcade machines and 9 pinball machines, but we got so busy just enjoying ourselves, we really only had time for the 9 arcade machines. And can you the combined power of us off the top of our heads remember all 9 of them?
I've got the paper around here. I know exactly where it's at.
He's got a friend.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
So anyway, we played these, and we kept score to see who would do it, and we were playing it like golf, to where it wasn't about the total score.
May God bless your soul.
Yeah, you may want to edit that one.
No, that needs to go on there.
Well, compress it at least so people aren't.
Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
The games that we played. So please.
We had Battle Zone.
Yes. Taken by Eric, unfortunately.
Yeah, we had
in the back. I remember we were playing Battle Zone.
What the hell is this? Arc. What's Arc? Arkanoid? Yeah, okay. Arkanoid, which was Adam.
We're playing Battle Zone. And Eric posted this score, but I knew I could beat it, right? Like, I'm not being an ass when I say that. It was just, I knew in my head that I was that good on a good day at Battle Zone. So I was like, oh, an opening, because I had pretty much seeded Battle Zone to Eric in my brain because he became obsessed with it that day.
Oh, I played it probably more than anything.
And so I'm sitting there playing it, and a tank shot me in the back, and I lost. Yeah, the screen shattered, and so Eric took that one. We played Arkanoid, which if you never played Arkanoid, it's like Breakout, but really good.
Oh, it's awesome. It's got a
Breakout with power-ups,
like
basically.
an analog little analog paddle wheel.
Yeah, which Breakout does as well, but
right. I wasn't very good at it. I gotta admit, I wasn't used to the paddle mechanic. You know, I'd always played it with like a keyboard or some shit.
Keyboard or I had the port on the Atari 1200 XL, the computer that I had, and would play Arkanoid just constantly. I loved that game.
Well, that explains why you were good at it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, next game.
Dig Dug, which you took by about 2,000 points.
It was
maybe 1,000. Sorry, that was a close one.
Almost all of these games, Eric, it made me feel good because I just being honest, I think that Eric is probably better at me than video games.
I don't know about that.
Just in general.
You're better at fucking pinball than me. I know that.
Well, I fuck pinball. Like I'm known as a pinball fucker. Yes.
This is the next Who song. He's a pinball fucker and has to be twisted.
He's a pinball fucker and he's got a stuck dick
Why do you think he does it? I don't know.
Anyway.
He screws them so good.
So, yeah. So, anyway, we're not even talking about pinball. I've always felt like Eric was just a shade better than just in general at games. But it made me feel good because this was crazy close.
It was, and I loved it because I was very frightful. I was very frightful that you would win, and I mean, I was really trying my best, but there's so much shit going on that sometimes you just not be able to focus.
And and the way we played it was when we said it was time to play. One of us played it. We alternated who went first.
Yeah.
One of us played it, and that's it. You screw that game up, and it's over.
Yeah.
It's just like the Olympics, okay?
Yeah.
You got one shot at this.
You know, and we had a few alcoholic beverages.
We had we drank a few. They had some beer on special.
Yeah. It wasn't anything special, but
no, it was not special, but it was on special.
Right.
And
it was cheap.
There was drinking it.
Yeah, there's a reason.
But anyway, it looked like a Mexican resort town. So, I took Dig Dug, which was a surprise because Dig Dug is more of an Eric game.
I love Dig Dug, and I was very down whenever you got that. I gotta admit, I was like, "Fuck this shit."
Was this when I went on my little run where I thought you were getting a little pouty? I got it.
Well, I was just like, "Fuck it," you know. I'd had a few beers, and I was just like, "Yeah, Adam's kicking my ass," you know. I was really worried.
I wanted Dig Dug, and that was just kind of like the moment where I was "Oh shit!"
Well, see, here's the deal. Yeah. I gotta admit that for like the first 5 games, I was not even fucking paying attention to the score, which is what we were basing this off of.
Correct.
Because I'm not used to playing games for the score. I'm just wanting to get as far as I can.
Yeah, so and that's not the way it is in old arcades.
Yeah, exactly. And I started realizing that, and I was like, oh God, I've not been trying for a score. And that was Dig Dug because I didn't realize how much score you could rack up by just going through the dirt.
Yeah.
And I was watching
that one, and I was like, I think the moment that you really realized it was Circus Charlie.
Yeah.
Because I started getting all the money.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, you can even get the money?
Yeah. I didn't know, you know.
I felt a little bit for that one. But anyway, go ahead.
A battle. Okay, so we did Battle Bug. We did Battle Bug. What the hell am I talking about? Battle Zone, Arkanoid, Dig Dug, Donkey Kong, which was taken by you apparently.
Oh my God! But Eric, the worst video. That was that stick was a little wonky.
It was indeed. I'll give you that.
You absolute I pride myself if I could say
you're
I
damn good at Donkey Kong.
Game.
Yeah,
it's either Donkey Kong or Miss Pac-Man, and both.
I'll give you that all day long.
I would like to. I'm not like Steve Wiebe, King of Kong, but I can stay.
Why would you want to be?
I can stay for quite some time on a Donkey Kong or a Miss Pac-Man machine. So I took it on the absolute worst game of my life, and probably the worst game of your life on Donkey Kong.
Oh my God! Yeah.
That stick was so messed up. That stick was so messed up, and I beat 100 points.
No, yeah, it was bad. The next game on the list here is Galaga, which I mean,
that's Eric's game.
Well, I mean, like, and it's like you said, I'm not like some kind of savant at it, okay? But like, I think the most I ever got to is like level 18 in the arcade, which, I mean, that's me on a very good day where I'm really focused. But I love Galaga, and it goes beyond just I'm the best in the world, you know. I don't claim to be that at any game, but I like Galaga, and anytime there's Galaga, I'll play it. You know, it's one of those games. So I took that one. Then it was the Star Wars game.
That was the biggest ass kicking of the night. Was the Galaga.
Well, then there was Star Wars, which apparently I took by probably not much because we did good. No, Star Wars. You there?
Yeah, Star Wars was there for a while. That's when the people got behind Eric and were going, stay on target.
Yeah, I was doing all right. Yeah, but it was close. It was.
It was.
Then there was the jungle game, the Jungle King, which we were gonna play Missile Command, but we decided to change it to Jungle King because I don't understand Missile Command. I'm not good at it. and I took that one somehow. I don't remember that very well.
I remember it well because I died so many times trying to get points.
That's what it was.
And instead of just playing through it, I was trying to kill the alligators. And
Which I was pretty good at killing alligators. I think that's where I got, more points, I think. Because, like, I always wanted to kill the alligators in the game. Like when I played the ports of it on the Atari.
Right.
Then there was Circus Charlie, which Adam took because he kicked my ass in that. I was not good at that. You had a knack for it.
Well, and I knew how to get extra points that you weren't really paying attention to.
Right. And then we didn't do the pinball actually.
No,
apparently, because I don't think we had time.
No, we ran out of time. Yeah. We were having so much fun, and it was just one of those things. It took longer to complete this. I think that you probably agree with me. We had so much fun that I would like to do this again.
Well, see, what's crazy is, which I don't want to get into this right. I'll tell you in a second, because it's going to totally take me off on a tangent, which could, last 20 minutes. But
right.
the last game was versus Mario, which I took barely. I mean, it was. I mean, that was the deciding. It was the tiebreaker. Yeah. And it was down to that game, and I won by like something crazy, like 300 points, which is like stomping on a few times. We were. I mean, I was sitting there going, "Please die, because I wanted to win, But it was like it was like down to the wire, and it really was exciting. So, I mean, it was all on the Mario game, and I took it, and I mean, we were so evenly matched that whole night that it was like.
It was 4-4, and then you won the fifth one by an eyelash. So it was really good. It really was, and I regret not getting to play the pinball ones, but it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. I designed a stupid little game, and we played it kind of like what they refer to as skins golf or hole golf, where it wasn't like. And the total score for Eric was how many specific games you took.
Which ones did you win?
In that terms of golf, that you took 5 holes and I took 4 holes.
Right, there was 9 games, yeah. So Battlezone, Arkanoid, Dig Dug, Donkey Kong, Galaga, Star Wars, I was going to say Missile Command, but we changed it to Jungle King versus Mario and Circus Charlie.
And that change of Jungle King now. That may have flipped the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, it was actually very exciting. The other thing I was going to say was that you had actually planned all this, and at first I was like, because I'm just sort of that way. But then it was sort of like, this is actually kind of fun. It gives you a purpose, and it kind of keeps that arcade spirit alive. And one of the things that we were going to do was we were going to play 9 arcade games and 9 pinball games. We didn't have time to do the pinball games. And when I got back home, you kind of showed me this game, this called, what was it called, Adam?
Well,
what's the pinball game?
It's called Pinball Arcade.
Pinball Arcade.
The Pinball Arcade.
If you're into pinballs and you're still listening to us, this is a game that you need to buy. It is amazing. The physics in it are unlike anything I've ever seen. The attention to detail. I mean, we could go on. I'm not going to get into detail, but what I'm saying is that this game reproduces very authentically and faithfully these old pinball machines that are incredible. They're known for being good. And when I look at this list that you made for us, a lot of these pinball machines I've actually got to play now. And I know these pinball machines because I played them on that game. And it's like I'm sitting here going, you're a Space Shuttle, Pinbot, Black Hole, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Gogar, Jackbot, all these things, no good gophers, and all these things that you had put down for us, I got to play on that video game. And it's like, and it feels so authentic. And it's like, now I want to go and play them.
The Pinball Arcade is a great video game. These guys will take a pinball machine apart and scan in exacting detail every ramp, everything. I mean, it is as close to real as you're ever going to get.
Which can oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and it works like almost like a museum. It's put together very lovingly. They've got like pro tips, and they explain the rules of pinball, which. Just getting back to the expo for real quick. That was the first time I think that you had really gotten into
well, I had never seen a pinball
played.
machine since I had been 8 years old. So I never really understood that there were goals and ways to achieve it and ways to see it. It always just confused the hell out of me. So
sometimes I think a lot of times the general public views pinball as I just try to keep my ball alive as long as possible.
That was me.
But what they don't realize is that each individual game has certain goals that you're trying to achieve.
That you always seem to read me out on, Adam. I gotta say, Adam is a pinball wizard. Anytime I think I, do good, it's just like, well, let me sit down here. 5 hours later, he's got, every top score. Which I gotta say, when we went to the expo, it didn't mean much to me at the time because I hadn't been very educated in it, but it means a lot to me now. We got to meet the creator, the designer, shall I say, of Bride of Pinbot and several other machines.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk about that, that's cool. If you like to talk
I did. We got to meet him, and
I can't remember his name.
Bride of Pinbot is my favorite.
John? Was it John?
And I'll tell you real quick.
Just look it up. We're all live here because I've got to pee, but I'm like totally taking.
Just go pee, Eric. Go pee.
Okay.
We'll break right here so I can sound intelligent.
Okay, hold on. It's John Trudeau or something like that. Hold on.
Trudeau, yeah.